2K Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the NBA.
It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
And Brooklyn is where we'll be going just moments from now, as the Nets will be going up against the Toronto Raptors. For Toronto, now these are the games that challenge you. They'll have their work cut out for them, but they believe they can come away with a win. So right around the halfway mark, we're starting to see MVP candidates emerge. Shaq, you won that honor back in 2000, putting up tremendous numbers.
Yeah, I had a career high in averages, points, and assists, and that was the year of my first championship, Bernie.
Shaq, do you think you should have won more than one MVP?
I sure did. I got robbed twice.
I think overall in your career you should have had 4. But in 2000, when I was working as a student analyst watching you, man, that was a great Laker team.
I appreciate you very much.
Pleasure to know you. Honor to be sitting here next to you. Isn't this guy the greatest?
Man, it's Shaq Mendes.
And a look behind the curtain here. Final preparations for the challenge ahead. Hoping to come out of the gates strong. The activity in front of the Brooklyn Museum, not too far from our setting today here at the Barclays Center. Hello, and thanks for joining us, folks, for this midweek NBA action on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan with Greg Anthony and Doris Burke. Also joining us from the sidelines, David Aldridge. Hey, Dave.
Well, Kevin Durant said his days of trying to prove himself through basketball are done. He said, walking around with a chip on my shoulder is not my thing. I'm more relaxed and letting these days flow. I'm the best version of me. I don't need to prove who I am. I've been in it for too long. Kevin, this is a guy who is finally comfortable with himself.
All right, thanks, D.A. And now a chance to take a look at some numbers for Gasol.
And he's gone dry over the past 10 games, guys. His scoring is way down, and he can't seem to fight his way out of the slump. He better get it going tonight, or they'll start losing patience with him.
Here are the 5 for the Raptors. Anunoby and Siakam in at the forward slots. Lowry and Powell, the guards. And it's Ibaka in at the 5. And for the Nets, we've got Durant. Kyrie Irving is out there with Spencer Dinwiddie. Then it's Jordan. And it's Allen in at the 4-man position. Boris, what are you going to be watching about these two teams who seem to be strong up front?
Yeah, I think certainly both have guys with size who also bring incredible skill to the game. And it's really hard to win this league without at least one elite player at one of the front court positions.
Now, here is Irving. Against Indiana, he was really on his game.
You love the leadership of Kyrie Irving from the lead guard position. Yes, he's looking to score, but he's adept at finding the open teammate.
Here's Powell. It's a 3-point game. And Jordan sends it back. High post shot. KD's shot is good. Durant's got 5.
Well, Kevin Durant's form, his release point, everything about his stroke is really impeccable.
Lowry passes to Siakam. And he lays it straight in.
And once he got to the 10, I think he was surprised to find himself that wide open.
And I think defensively, that is not the way you want to start. Giving up high percentage looks, that doesn't typically end well.
Now here's Powell, following the miss by Kyrie Irving. The shot by Powell, no good.
You will have to finish harder than that if you want to convert in traffic.
Outside, KD. From the stripe. That shot misses. Good work defensively by Ibaka. Raptors have gone 1 of 3 from the field to start this one so far. Lowry dishes to Powell. Here's Anunoby. He's coming off a 10-point game against Minnesota.
And don't forget about the 2 blocks. He really changed the game for his team on the defensive side.
The shot by Powell, no good.
Well, that's a blown defensive coverage, but it doesn't matter. He cannot answer the bell.
Outside for Jordan. Passes to Durant. Allen surveying the D. In the corner, it's Dinwiddie. Clock at 6. Over Ibaka. Here's Jordan. Throws it down as the official calls the foul. It may be a three-point play. It's going to be on Siakam.
How many times have we seen DeAndre Jordan take it off the window and convert? Boy, he is so good.
Mind the lanes. Mind the lanes. One shot.
Free throw good, Jordan.
The Nets had to be so judicious and so smart with every move they made because they did not have top draft selections. So you have to use cap space to acquire picks. They had to find sleepers in the draft. They had to find players who were probably undervalued and then develop those players. This is an organization that used every tool at their disposal. DeAndre Jordan, simply a force around the cup. This guy has rare athleticism.
Dinwiddie against Powell. Here's Lowry. And the Raptors miss again. And Doris, the Nets showed they could manufacture a rebuild.
Kevin, what the Nets did was not easy. But to me, it shows you exactly how critical quality front office personnel is to the success of an organization, and the Nets were on point throughout the process.
Oh, great ball movement there.
And so Lowry will bring it up for the Toronto Raptors. It's a 10-point game. Can they get it? And too long on the shot. The Nets have gone 5 of 9 from the field here in the first. Here's KD. Here's Allen. And contact on the shot, so he'll be shooting free throws here. It's going to be on Siakam.
Well, this is exactly the kind of position you want Jared Allen shooting from, right? He gets excellent position, makes defenders nervous this close. Good job drawing that foul.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
And the first one drops. The Raptors' Nick Nurse winning an NBA title in his first season. Greg is an NBA head coach.
The first time a head coach who'd also helmed a team in a foreign league has won it. Nurse often reminisces fondly on those days coaching in Europe. And this summer, he was entrusted with coaching the Canadian national team at the FIBA World Cup.
And Allen drops them both. About this time of the year, we hear early talk about end-of-the-season awards. When you're thinking about who you'd vote for MVP or whatever, Doris, when do you start giving consideration to those topics?
You know what's fascinating, Kevin, is where all the major awards are considered, particularly the MVP, it feels like there's a narrative that develops back when the season starts. The key as a voter, I think, is to sort of eliminate the noise, look at the numbers, consider the success of teams, and make your decision from there. You've got to make sure you're really doing your research.
And sometimes, am I right, it comes down to the final couple days of the regular season before a voter like yourself knows for sure.
Kev, I have cast my MVP ballot on the last possible day in each of the last 3 years.
Wow.
Trying to snap them out of this little slump.
Just feels like the basket is looking awfully small to them right now. They're having a hard time getting anything to fall.
Already it's February. Let's see how the East is matching up. Taking a look at Brooklyn, right now they've compiled the third best record in the conference. And, of course, Toronto, 3 spots below.
And seeing where the Nets are, for me, they've taken the league by storm this season. I felt like they were maybe a year ahead of schedule in terms of being an elite group. But you look at them right now, and here they are.
Yeah, they weren't really on anyone's radar before the season began, but they're definitely there now.
Yeah, we're seeing some fireworks from them already.
Well, what I love is the game plan has been solid from the opening tip, and guys are making their shots. That's critical.
Now, here's Lowry. He had a 21-point outing in their last game against Minnesota.
And his passing was simply amazing. A lot of fun to watch.
And here is Irving. Following Kyle Lowry's 3, Irving passes to KD. From 20 feet out, it's hauled in by the Raptors. Lowry with the ball. Scoring-wise, he's definitely making his mark. Right now, he's averaging about 19 points a game. Gasol, no good. Brooklyn leading by 13. Outside Jordan. Pass to Dinwiddie. Allen outside. Brooklyn needs to get off a shot here. Puts it up from 17. Can't hit that one.
I'll tell you, it has not been this guy's best night, but the teammates have been there to pick up the slack. Love it.
Here's Anunoby. Guarded by KD. Outside Lowry. The shot, no good. Some solid defense there from Irving.
And another miss. Oof, he's having a really ugly game.
Yeah, about as ugly as you can have, you're right.
They're getting on a roll inside. Their last 3 field goals have come from the paint.
Now, here's Lowry. The pass to Powell. Kicks to Ibaka. The baseline jumper goes down.
Well, you love how Ibaka goes right up with the shot. Doesn't hesitate for a second off the catch.
Out to the right wing. Dinwiddie right side. From 13. Another shot. Jordan can't get it to go.
Boy, that's too easy to miss, but somehow he finds a way to do it.
The shot by Powell, no good.
With him scoreless in the latter part of this one, it's awfully hard to come back. Boy, picking Jared Allen, number 22, back in 2017 has paid off for the Nets. This guy has proven already in his early 20s to be an NBA caliber starting center.
Toronto calls timeout. And Jared Allen grew up in the Austin area and played near his home at the University of Texas.
Yeah, Kev, just 1 season with the Longhorns. He really came into the league considered a project, but boy, his development is truly ahead of schedule.
Changes for Brooklyn. Taurean Prince, he's checked in for Jordan. Harris comes in for Kevin Durant. And Karis LeVert subbed in for Spencer Dinwiddie. Raptors also changing it up. Boucher is checked in. Hollis Jefferson subbed in for OG Anunoby. Gasol. And the call on the shot that sends him to the line. And just like his brother Powell, Marc Gasol active in humanitarian causes.
I mean, we saw him volunteering on rescue boats in the Mediterranean. Mark doing his part, but also bringing attention to that humanitarian crisis.
2 shots.
Free throw drops for Gasol. No doubt passing is a premium for this team game of the NBA. We love the individual star power, but it is a team game. Are there any playmakers out there that don't get, Doris, you think, enough credit for all that they do for their team?
Well, the first guy that comes to mind is a man that Steve Kerr described as probably the smartest single basketball player he has ever been around, and that's Andre Iguodala. The numbers in terms of his scoring, obviously not eye-popping, but his incredible defense and then his elite passing skills have been so critical to so many championship teams.
Here's Lowry, following the basket by Kyrie Irving. And here's Lowry. He kicks it to Gasol, and it's sent back by Allen.
Wow, Jared Allen twice on the pipe. Send it back, young sir.
Knocks down the 3 ball. And the Nets lead by 18.
They've been excellent so far, coming in with a well-balanced attack.
No doubt, Greg. On the offensive end, it feels like they're getting the shots they want, and defensively, they are connected and on a string.
You can't just stop when there's a pick set up. Gotta fight over it as a defender.
And Greg, you know exactly what that takes. It takes energy, it takes activity, it takes intensity.
That's out of bounds. Brooklyn will retain possession. Wilson Chandler's checked in for the Nets.
Wilson Chandler.
.137 left in the first quarter. And blocked. That one goes careening off the glass.
What defensive instincts. What timing by Marc Gasol. Nice block.
LeVert against Lowry. Van Vliet looking around. The rebound by Prince.
And he did everything he could to make that shot as difficult as possible.
We call that a great contest. You know this is something he brings to the table, the ability to anchor your defense.
His 3-pointer's off the mark.
They've been sensational on the backboard to start this game.
Now here's Van Vliet. LeVert defending. Van Vliet passes to Gasol. Fades and shoots. That shot no good. So Brooklyn will take it the other way. Irving kicks to Chandler. Harris dishes to Chandler. We've got 28 seconds left to play in the first. 6 on the shot clock. Good. Irving's got 6 points.
And you can see their strategy coming in. They want to control the paint.
They have used their size and their strength to get off any shot they want. They've dominated on the interior.
Lowry against Irving. Outside Lowry. Over Harris. That one off the back iron and out. Domination in the first quarter. It's been pretty lopsided. Nets lead by 18. 2K Sports back in a moment here in Brooklyn. One of the league's best point guards, Kyrie Irving, had this to say about his competition.
2011, I came into a league where the point guard position was still being revolutionized, and now guys are solidifying that spot every single year. There are young guys coming in, but now we have established point guards that are franchise-changing point guards. And for me, having that competitive drive every single game, I know I'm going against an elite point guard every single game. So I think that now coming into the league, it's a lot different than it was before.
Some say, Greg, a golden age at the point guard position.
Yeah, and Irving right there with the best of them. He embraces the challenge.
And glad to have you with us, folks. Second quarter of basketball. This game has not exactly been neck and neck, but plenty of time left in this one. And guys, the Nets enjoying a nice lead here.
they set a physical tone in the first, and that really showed on the backboard.
I think it's why they hold the lead here early, because they're controlling the flow of the game with those second chance opportunities.
So for Toronto right now, Hollis Jefferson is out there with Pascal Siakam. Then there's Lowry. Then it's Fred VanVleet. And it's Boucher in at the center, filling out the middle. Raptors trail by 18.
And until their playoff run, the Brooklyn Nets weren't a team we thought of as a free agent destination. And Doris, you almost forget that they play in the biggest market in the country.
And Greg, who would have thought that in New York and Los Angeles, arguably the most competent franchises would be the Nets and the Clippers? These are two of the historically dilapidated teams no longer content to play second fiddle in those major markets.
Okay, well, let's go down to David Aldridge for a report from the sideline.
Well, Kevin, Kenny Atkinson, who's a native of Long Island, now has his dream job, coaching the Brooklyn Nets. He doesn't need praise or recognition. Instead, he's fueled by the fear of failure. He says, I always feel like I'm one banana peel away from never being in the NBA again. And Kevin, he's got his team playing with that same determination.
David, he sure does. Thank you very much. Here's Irving. Raptors knocking down the tray. And there's the call on Kyle Lowry. That is his first foul of the game. And here in the second, 2 minutes gone by. Pass to LeVert. Back to Prince. The kick out to Irving. Just 5 on the clock. LeVert with a wide open look. Yes, and it's Irving picking up the assist. LeVert's got himself on the board with 3 there.
How many times have we seen a possession like that from them today, ending with a basket coming off a pretty pass?
Doesn't get it to drop for him. Great D that time from Irving. It's LeVert on the wing. And it's off from three-point range. Raptors trail by 17. Second quarter of play with almost 3 minutes gone. Here's Boucher. Offline with his 3. Brooklyn's gone 1 of 2 on 3-pointers here in the second quarter so far. And 2 shots coming up at the line as he gets fouled on the shot. Well, at 6'7", Doris, Caris LeVert describing himself as a point/shooting guard.
Well, why not? Because his slashing ability, his blinding speed off the dribble is really what makes him problematic. His burst is special, and it doesn't matter if he's going left or right.
This is his first chance at the line tonight.
Numbers this year at the line below 70, so when he's getting to the line, not nearly as effective as you'd like.
That free throw, no good.
Well, think back to Caris LeVert's career at Michigan. It was marred by 3 foot surgeries in just 22 months. And obviously, the medical red flags caused his draft stock to dip. But credit the Nets, who picked him up with the 20th pick back in 2016.
Looking at who's out there now for the Nets. Jordan, he's checked in for Taurean Prince. Durant comes in for Harris. And Dinwiddie subbed in for Kyrie Irving. And the ankle injury for LeVert last season, more of a freak accident.
Yeah, Kevin, you think about it, he comes down on top of another player. It ends up costing him 3 months. But even through these tough injuries, what we know, Caris LeVert has shown when healthy, he can be special.
Their 3rd three-pointer in a row.
Now, Dinwiddie, a 14-point game for him in the win against the Pacers in Indianapolis. Here's KD. The putback controls the rebound and puts it back up and in. And the Nets lead by 17.
And defensively, guys, they've been unable to shut down the middle.
Now here's VanVleet. LeVert defending. Chandler with the steal. Floats one, and he gets the basket. Officials blowing the whistle, so a chance at the line for one more.
They should continue to get the ball inside. The defense struggling to contain them.
Of course, you and I were just talking about this as more and more players are going public with their trade requests. Do you think that's had a negative impact on the game?
Well, Kevin, I certainly think it makes long-term planning for NBA franchises a lot more difficult because contractually we are not seeing them hold true to the particular organization they may have signed that contract with. The reality is this in today's NBA. You've got to be nimble as an organization, and you have got to be attractive to them. And I mean that with great ownership, great leadership, and who are the players currently in your system. You have got to be incredibly nimble to be successful in today's NBA.
I think you're right on. Chandler against Siakam. Pass to Anunoby. Just 5 to shoot. Lets it go from deep.
Well, the reach of Kevin Durant is a big part of what allows him to be a defender at the highest level.
Well, they've been better than good on the glass today, and there is a glaring discrepancy between these two teams in that area.
Well, Doris, you knew that his free agency would be one of the biggest stories of the summer. Everyone tried their best to land Kevin Durant.
And even considering the injury, anyone would be willing and able to take Kevin Durant on their roster. Why? Because when he's healthy, you become an immediate contender.
Shooting 2.
He misses the free throw.
And at this point, there simply is no doubt that Kevin Durant is one of the great shooters to ever play the game. The only question is just where on the all-time list will he land when we talk about the unstoppable scorer.
Jared Allen's checked in for Wilson Chandler. And he's good on the second. And with Durant, perhaps the most amazing part, he can have quiet nights, Greg, of 30-plus points.
Kevin, his scores are just so easy for him that you forget you aren't supposed to see 7-foot sharpshooters doing it. He can score from anywhere in any fashion and can hold his own with any player in history in terms of how unguardable he is.
Looking at the last game for the Brooklyn Nets, it was a win against Indiana.
And really showed their depth when they needed it most. On the road, having to manufacture points.
Well, how about the job they got from their bench? That productivity was a major part of the outcome.
Here's Van Vliet. Kevin Durant picking up that last basket. Looking to end the run. Shooting foul as the whistle blows. He'll shoot 2 free throws. It goes on Spencer Dinwiddie.
And you know what? Very close to a three-point play right there.
Undrafted out of Wichita State, Fred Van Vliet. Never the most heralded player, Doris. But you know, he says he bet on himself, and it's worked.
No doubt. Van Vliet's belief in himself gets him a 2-year, $18 million contract. But I think beyond that, this man, in the moments that mattered most in the playoffs, proved that Fred Van Vliet will deliver.
And only 6 feet tall in shoes, Fred Van Vliet's not the biggest, but his toughness grade. His toughness, mentally and physically, is unquestioned.
And Kevin, growing up in Rockford, Illinois, gave him that perspective. Friends and family gone too soon. Basketball was the path to something better.
Guys, how about the journey of the Raptors' Nick Nurse, so well traveled before taking the head job in Toronto? This guy has shown his worth in his first season as a head coach in the NBA. It translates to a title. Absolutely incredible.
Raptors trail by 21. To the middle. Here's Siakam. Good, and Van Vliet gets the assist. Siakam's got his second bucket of the game to go. And Coach Nick Nurse paid some dues, Doris, before his turn as head coach of this Toronto team.
Well, think about it. Early in his career, he's a player coach in the British Basketball League. Then he goes and establishes a G League franchise in his home state of Iowa. Then to lead that team to a title in 2011, join another G League team for the Raptors and win a title in 2013. Really an incredible journey, guys.
Now here's Powell. He's still scoreless so far in this one. Durant against Powell. Durant, the pass to LeVert. Back to KD. And he banks in the layup. Durant's got 5 points in the quarter.
And they've had assists now in their last 3 baskets.
LeVert against Powell. Pass to Siakam. And he uses the glass on the layup. Siakam's got his 3rd bucket of the night.
Well, Pascal Siakam has such soft touch, and he uses his length to his advantage on the inside there.
And the first timeout called of the game for Brooklyn. Doris, such an honor to be on this with you, and you were the first female to become a full-time NBA analyst, breaking new ground. You've accomplished so much in your life, personally, professionally. What would you tell young women who are graduating college, looking to get ahead in their career in what you've chosen?
Well, first and foremost, I've been very lucky, Kevin. The game of basketball has been a part of my life since I was 7. It's been a driving force. I love it. I would just tell young women, times are changing. Dream big. There's nothing that's impossible. And I'm so thankful to the NBA players and coaches who have just wrapped their arms around me from the time I entered this business. So kudos to those players who are part of the change, no question.
And hard work. I have seen you work. I have seen you prepare. No one prepares more. No one works harder than you.
Thanks, Kev.
Marcus All's checked in for Serge Ibaka. And while we have a moment, let's find out which point guards have had the best month from the charity strike. And you look at Lowry, the best in the NBA. You put him on the line, and it's nearly automatic. And, of course, Fred VanVleet, who's right there as well. Another player that shoots extremely well from the free throw line.
They are as reliable at the free throw line as you're going to find in this league. And that's something we've come to expect from the point guard position.
You know, but even so, don't take for granted what this group has done at the free throw line. They deserve a ton of credit for the work they've put in to achieve that level of consistency and excellence.
A nice shot by KD.
Yeah, the chemistry has been terrific. Really impressed with their offensive execution.
Toronto's gotten half their shots from three-point range to go down in the second quarter. 3 of 6 from downtown. Knocked away. Stolen by Durant. Here we go, one-on-one. Oh, and the jam by Durant.
Well, that's one way to go from defense to offense. KD capable of doing it all by himself.
Here's VanVleet. He's coming off a 19-point game against Minnesota. Siakam against Jordan. They get it back.
Boy, surprised he missed that. The defense just good enough to prevent that bucket.
LeVert with it. He had 19 points in the win against the Pacers in Indianapolis. And the pass to Jordan. 5 to shoot. KD finds Allen. LeVert from outside. That one doesn't go. Good D by Siakam. For Toronto, they've gone 6 of 12 in the second quarter, right at the 50% mark from the field. VanVleet up top. From deep. Allen with the rebound.
He couldn't believe how open he was. He just couldn't convert it.
Lobs it up for Jordan.
Nice pass here to set that basket up.
And so VanVleet will bring it up for Toronto, coming off that loss against the Timberwolves.
And guys, there's really a fine line between being aggressive and being out of control. And in that one, they crossed the line.
You have got to be a low mistake team in today's NBA, because once those turnovers start piling up, you're giving your opponent too many extra looks.
Here's Dinwiddie following the basket by Pascal Siakam. Steps back and fires. No good from Durant. The Raptors have gone 7 of 14 in the second quarter, shooting to the tune of 50%. In the corner, Powell with it. And it comes off the front of the rim.
Well, you simply have to shake that one off, right? You can't let that kind of missed opportunity bother you.
The shot by KD. No good. The Raptors shooting only 32% from the field. Plenty of signs of struggle by this offense today. And Gasol gets it to go.
That 7'1" frame of Marc Gasol, strength, power, you name it, he can absorb contact.
Nets leading by 23. Here now is Dinwiddie. He's been a reliable scorer for him as he's averaging up over 13 points a game. Lets it go from 14. Nice spin off the left rim and in. Durant's got 11 points in the quarter.
And he's starting to show that killer instinct this quarter, looking to extend the lead.
Van Vliet passes to Gasol. With one on the clock, and yes, it's good. Gasol's got 6 points.
Marc Gasol has such pretty touch on the offensive end. Nice shot.
And so a pretty lopsided game through the first half. It's the Nets running away with it. And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Thanks a lot. Kyrie, what were you all focusing on coming into the game tonight?
Come out with a intense focus and intensity that other teams can't match. Just doing whatever it takes to keep our tempo. Guys are in a great rhythm when we have a great tempo. So just trying to get everybody involved and do whatever it takes to win.
Well, we'll see if you can keep playing at your pace in the second half. Thanks a lot. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, thank you, and stay with us, folks. We'll be back just after halftime to get the third quarter started.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Welcome back to 2K Sports, everybody. Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith. Let's talk about that first half. It's Brooklyn out in front at the half. They are completely in control of the game, leading by a massive amount. Kenny, some perspective, please.
Their ability to get into the paint and get to the rim has been deadly, constantly attacking the basket. It was clearly their intention right from the start to pound it inside as much as possible. And I don't see them straying from that strategy in the second half. It's going to be another paint-based attack.
Shaq, let's get your insight on Toronto.
They were not running an efficient offense. The shot selection has to improve. It's as simple as that. Too many guys working as individuals, not as a team. They need to work as a unit, Ernie. Move the ball.
Thanks for joining us, folks. We're now just a few minutes away from the start of the third quarter.
And there wasn't too much drama in the first half, but maybe things will tighten up here in the second. What a game we're seeing from Kevin Durant.
He had a fast pass to the lane that first half, got inside on demand.
Now, this guy is such a good finisher on the move, and so far the defense has not been able to counter it.
And Toronto choosing their team name back in '94. The fans helped them narrow it down, and with dinosaurs all over the silver screen, it helped tilt things towards the Raptors.
And we all remember those early uniforms, those giant velociraptors across the front. Fortunately, they've toned it down a bit since then.
Our second half of basketball, and presented by Gatorade. Let's see who's all fueled up and on the floor to start the third. Setting the floor for the Nets. They've got Kyrie Irving. Jared Allen is out there with Jordan. And it's Durant, and it's Dinwiddie in at the 2. Now here's Durant. Outside Irving. Powell with the steal. Fires from the wing. Here's Siakam. And there's the bucket. Staying with it on the offensive glass, getting it done. Siakam's got 10.
Just no resistance inside at all. They are feasting. This is a straight buffet.
It is. It's a big one. And load the plate. Now let's go to the sideline and catch up with our Hall of Famer, David Aldridge.
Well, Kevin, Kyle Lowry is hard-nosed, as we all know, and if you ask him, It comes from his upbringing in Philadelphia. Lowry said, "A Philly player is what a basketball player is. We played on concrete. You got to be mentally tough. You're not trying to be athletic. You get hit the wrong way, you run into a metal pole." Kevin, that's what made him, from Philly to Villanova to Toronto to an NBA champion.
I don't know about running into the metal pole, but that sounds painful. But he's certainly as tough as he can be. David, thank you.
I love that Kyrie Irving doesn't settle for something on the perimeter. He goes right to the cup.
Lowry kicks to Anunoby. Back to Lowry. Pass to Powell. Ibaka in the post. Guarded by Jordan. 2 free throws coming up, and they call the shooting foul. It's going to be on DeAndre Jordan.
Don't you just love the gritty nature of Ibaka's game? This guy easily draws contact thanks to his aggressiveness.
It's his first trip to the line.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
No good on the free throw.
And for the Nets, team dinners, you go to their practice facility, a beautiful rooftop space for team gatherings. Building chemistry is a focus for this franchise.
And that's not surprising, Greg, given that their front office is part of the San Antonio Spurs tree, so to speak. So staying connected as teammates, especially valuable in today's NBA. Love the culture here.
And the second free throw, good.
And the move back to his more natural 5 position has rejuvenated Serge Ibaka. More room to operate offensively, and defensively he can stay in the paint where he's effective.
Now here's Irving. He's got 8. Durant wide open. He fires. Off the mark there with the 3-point shot. A little under 2.5 minutes gone by here in the third. Powell with it. Guarded now by Prince. Passes it to Siakam. And that'll be 2 free throws coming up. Officials on the call with the foul. And Ibaka's shooting ability, Doris, had enabled him to play some power forward, but his mobility was being tested.
Correct, because at Ibaka's size, it's tough to ask him to chase smaller guys around the perimeter. He is much better suited playing inside and protecting the rim. I think you saw that last season.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
Throw good. Siakam. Out of Cameroon, Pascal Siakam. Drastically improved last year, Doris. Is he the prototypical modern power forward?
He is, Kevin, and there's a few reasons why. The guy can rip and run. He can space the floor. He is switchable on the perimeter defensively. He can go inside, outside. Everything you want in terms of versatility, Pascal Siakam brings to the table.
Siakam hits them both.
And the most improved player in the league last season, Pascal Siakam got better in every statistical category.
Irving. Here's Jordan. And contact on the shot, so he'll be shooting free throws here.
Now, when DeAndre Jordan is engaged, this guy is flat out a difference maker. He understands how to play to his strengths.
And this is his second trip to the line tonight. Free throw good, Jordan. And it's those diamond-in-the-rough players that so often elevate the top teams. And, Greg, that's what the Raptors found in Pascal Siakam.
No doubt. The 27th pick back in 2016, now a full-time starter on a rookie contract, just over $2 million this season. He is due for a big raise.
That misses, so he splits the free throws.
Only 20% shooting in this quarter. They need to settle down and relax a little bit here.
High arcing shot, offensive rebound. Ibaka, no luck.
The defense ready for him on that possession. They had to be, because he is so strong in the paint.
And DeAndre Jordan throws it down.
Well, DeAndre Jordan cooking right now. This guy is so efficient.
Raptors trail by 21. Now Powell. Nothing yet on the scoreboard for him. Pass to Hollis Jefferson. Over Harris. And foul on the shot, so he'll get a chance at the line.
How about the toughness, Kevin, from Hollis Jefferson on the interior? Fantastic at using his length close to the rack to get that contact.
Raptors have been good at the free throw line in this one, 7 of 8.
Shooting 2.
And he can't get the first one.
One of the things you have to love, Kevin, about Hollis Jefferson is his energy. You know he's going to give you everything he's got on a night-by-night basis.
He hits the second from the line.
Well, think about the Nets' Kenny Atkinson, a finalist last season for NBA Coach of the Year. This young coach got a well-deserved contract extension. And what I love is his team competes at a high level every night.
And it's blocked by Ibaka.
Boy, great extension from Ibaka. His length always a factor.
Good on the shot.
Good job attacking. Those restricted area shots are what every NBA team is looking for.
And Doris, you think about how hard this Brooklyn team competes. I think they take right after their head coach.
I don't think there's any doubt, Kevin. Coach Atkinson is still willing to get on the court and jump into drills with his players. Let's remember, going back to the early days of his career, he was a player development coach. And before that, yes, he even played. That effort and willingness to break a sweat very much reflected in his group.
And the Raptors making a change here. Van Vliet's checked in. That free throw good from Kyrie Irving.
Well, this guy, Kyrie Irving, just so reminiscent of his idol, Kobe Bryant. He is one of the cold-blooded scorers in the game, an absolute torture for a defender to guard. Well, that's just inconsistency from him, and it's happened all night, and it hasn't helped their cause.
Now here's Prince. He's making his presence felt offensively with his scoring average up there at almost 13 points a game. And you know, Doris, for both Kyrie and Kobe, each had an urge to step out on his own, to put their fingerprints on a team.
No doubt, Kevin. For Kobe, it was Shaq. For Kyrie, it was LeBron. And think about last season. Kyrie actually called LeBron to apologize. But let's not kid ourselves, right? He is most comfortable in the starring role.
Here is Lowry after the basket by Brooklyn. The pass to Boucher. And 2 free throws coming up, unable to get that one to go with all the contact. It's going to be on DeAndre Jordan.
I mean, even from over here, you could see that one pretty clearly.
For Toronto, they have shot 8 of 10 from the line. That's an even 80% free throw shooting here.
And team free throw numbers really about as good as you could ask for, around 80% on the season.
Shooting 2.
No good on that one. Marcus All checked in for the Raptors. And he's good on the second. Here's Harris. He has 5. Jordan high post, working on Gasol. The shot's good from Jordan.
They are just killing them on the interior.
And so Van Vliet will bring it up for Toronto. Next matchup, they'll be home against the Suns. And that game will kick off a 4-game homestand. Outside Gasol. Good, and Van Vliet gets the assist. Van Vliet's got his 3rd assist on the night. Outside Irving. Pulled the shot a little left, but the bounce goes his way. Irving's got 7 points here in this quarter.
Oh, guys, there are not many strokes more pure than that of Kyrie Irving's.
And the 3-ball is good. And that's 13 points for Kyle Lowry.
This is as pure a shooter as there is. You've got to stay connected or it's a problem.
Now a timeout call by Brooklyn.
You know, you think about the most important players in Toronto Raptors history. Vince Carter probably number 1. DeMar DeRozan would be on that list. But boy, Kyle Lowry has got to be there as well. Remarkable how far they've come since he joined the team back in 2012.
The Nets making a switch here. LeVert's checked in. Let's check out the leaders in field goal percentage as a team. In 3rd, the Nets.
So patient on the offensive end. I mean, they're not going to force shots, and it's that selectiveness that's yielded such an impressive field goal percentage.
Brooklyn leading by 20. And the Raptors and Lowry both grew together, Doris, wouldn't you say?
A marriage made in heaven. Kyle Lowry has always played with a huge chip on his shoulder. He still carries that edge, but that maturity and leadership turned into a championship in Toronto. Doesn't get better than that.
Now, here's Lowry. 13 points in the game. Good on the bucket.
Well, small frame, but big heart. How about Kyle Lowry's toughness on the finish through contact?
Pass to Prince. And he gets the whistle. 2 free throws coming up. And a 4-year player at Baylor, Taurean Prince, something of a surprise lottery pick back in 2016. But Greg, he's become a very valuable player.
You know, he's one of those two-way power wings that it seems every team wants. A dependable three-point marksman who holds his own defensively.
And that one falls for Prince. And good on the second, so he makes them both. Raptors trail by 20. Lowry passes to Van Vliet. Back to Lowry. Lets the 3 fly. Rebounded by the Nets.
And even without that 3-ball dropping for him, the defense should have done more on that last play.
A nice shot by LeVert.
They're consistently finding ways to get the ball inside and taking full advantage.
And so here's Toronto following the bucket by the Nets. Lowry with the ball. 15 points in the game. Van Vliet passes to Boucher. Shot clock at 6. And he'll shoot free throws here. Clearly fouled on that shot that time. The whistle blowing. And Brooklyn called for the foul. These are his 3rd and 4th free throw attempts of the game.
Gotta admire what he's been able to do at the free throw line this season. How about over 90%?
Shooting 2.
And the first one at the line is good. Allen's checked in for Wilson Chandler. He hits both from the stripe. And it's Irving with the ball for the Nets. Passes it to LeVert. To the paint. Here's Allen. And the call on the shot that sends him to the line. They get Marc Gasol.
And a one-year player at Texas. Jared Allen came into the league as a bit of a project. He's got ample playing time to develop in Brooklyn.
The first free throw is good. And Greg, safe to say, Allen's defense is ahead of his offense.
Yeah, but his mobility and leaping ability serve him well as a finisher, providing that vertical spacing teams like to have inside.
And Brooklyn making a change here. Dinwiddie's checked in. OG Anunoby's checked in for the Raptors. And Allen drops them both.
And guys, I think the future is so bright for Jared Allen. We're talking about an athletic, mobile big man who has already proven to be an accomplished two-way player.
Now here's Van Vliet. He's got 10. A shot by Lowry. Wide open. No good with the triple. Brooklyn leading by 22. And he slams it one-handed.
We so often identify Joe Harris as strictly a shooter, but this guy, he is a tremendous passer as well.
Lowry up top. Dinwiddie covering. And it's sent back by Allen. Here's Prince. Good. And Harris gets the assist. Prince has got 10 points in the game.
Yeah, they're rolling right now. That lead continues to grow.
And one of the things that's helped that is they're getting it done on both ends. Terrific focus on offense, and they're locked in defensively.
They've given up a lot of three-pointers here today.
Brooklyn's gone 0 of 2 from deep to start things here in the second half. Dinwiddie, the bounce pass. Now here's LeVert, guarded closely. Clock at 6. And here's Prince outside. Another miss by Prince. Toronto's gotten the three-pointer to fall to the tune of 50% here in the third quarter. They've made 3 of 6. And he gets it to go as they call the foul. He's on his way to the line for one more.
And the muscle that Anunoby possesses, fantastic at gutting it out through contact and finishing.
And it seems like every team is in search of the, quote, power wing. The guys that have the quickness to defend on the perimeter and the strength to battle inside. OG Anunoby certainly fits the bill.
Kevin Durant's checked in for the Nets.
Mind the lanes. Mind the lanes. One shot.
And that one misses.
And the potential Anunoby has is exciting, has the athleticism, the shooting touch, and the drive to keep improving.
Now here's Dinwiddie. Pass to Durant. Over Siakam. Second chance effort, and Allen with the layup. He's got 8.
Well, so often we're talking about Jared Allen's length, and he does it nicely on the offensive glass right there.
And that one clearly a foul. Gets the whistle, and 2 shots coming up.
Yeah, easy call.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
That one is off. And Toronto making a change here. Powell's checked in. And he sinks the second. Nets leading by 22. 3-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Dinwiddie finds LeVert.
Yeah, and their free throw shooting has really improved here in the second half.
Shooting for Brooklyn, Spencer Dinwiddie. At the line for 2.
And he knocks down the first one.
And this team will make you pay when they get chances at the free throw line. It's helped them pull ahead here today.
And both free throws good for Dinwiddie.
Well, to me, it's the size, the strength, and the IQ of Spencer Dinwiddie that's so impressive. This guy is unique at the point guard position.
Feeds it to Gasol. And it's sent back by Allen. Here's KD. No good. And so it's the Brooklyn Nets finishing the quarter up by a whopping 24 points. From the field, they have been outstanding. Amazing shooting. That's what has them headed to a blowout. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And it's time now to bring you our State Farm assist of the game.
And the winner today, the big fella here with the sweetest of dimes. What a plus it is to have a post player who's got this ability to find.
So we have some elite passing big men in the NBA, and you love that skill. Wow.
And there have been 2 very different performances from these teams today as we get going in quarter number 4. On the court for Toronto to start the 4th. Siakam at power forward with Gasol at center. On the wings, Powell and Anunoby. And it's Van Vliet in at the 1. And that's out of bounds. Brooklyn will retain possession. KD dishes to Harris. Just 4 to shoot. Shot on the wing. The shot is good off the backboard.
So smooth with the shot mechanics. Joe Harris, what a pretty jumper.
KD against Siakam. He can't get it to go. The Nets go the other way with it. Dinwiddie right side. There's the dish to KD. That one falls coming off Dinwiddie's feet. Dinwiddie's got 5 assists in the game. Toronto calls timeout. Indoors at times, he's been the Nets' best player. Spencer Dinwiddie rewarded last season with a 3-year, $34 million extension.
Well, I think he's earned it, Kevin, right? Because he has started for them, he has come off the bench, and to this young man's great credit, he has accepted and excelled in either role. And I'll tell you, it's unusual for a point guard at 6'6". He has done nothing but enhance his versatility.
And the Raptors going out now with a whole new group. And we've played through about a minute here in the fourth. Here's McCall. Dinwiddie covering. Now the pass to Thomas. Doris, you and I are faced with this a lot, voting for the MVP. Great stats versus winning. Where do you stand on that when you vote for the league MVP?
Well, winning could be the definitive line if I have two candidates who are close. For instance, for me, this last MVP came down to James Harden and Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I took it to the last possible moment. And I could have gone in either direction and been comfortable. Ultimately, I went with Giannis, and the deciding factor came down to he led his team to the best record in the league. It was a difficult vote, but ultimately it's one category which helps tilt me in one direction or another.
And I did too, and what also helped me was just the improvement defensively they had made, and I know Antetokounmpo was a very big part of it.
No, it's a great point. He was a two-way force.
Now, here's Thomas. Spencer Dinwiddie missing his last shot. Pass to Temple. Here's Claxton. Three-pointer. The rebound by Johnson. Thomas feeling it out a bit. Davis, the pass to Thomas. Back to Davis. To the inside. Shot clock at 5. And good that time.
And there's a pattern starting to take shape here. They're working it inside and getting good shots from close range.
Temple, the pass to Claxton. And just about 3 minutes through the fourth quarter here. And the call is going to be, yes, it is, an illegal screen.
And not the most common call you'll see in the NBA, but hard to argue that pick wasn't illegal.
It is really difficult to get your feet completely set, to stay completely still. It's almost surprising to me that it isn't called more often.
The Raptors making a switch here. Siakam is checked in for Stanley Johnson. OG Anunoby comes in for Thomas. Powell, he's checked in for Davis. And it's Kyle Lowry in for Patrick McCall. Here's Anunoby. Outside Lowry. And again, no good by Toronto.
Sometimes you just have an off day, and this is one of those games for him.
And the foul called on Pascal Siakam. That's his third foul of the game.
Fouling like that isn't how you get back in the game.
Now a timeout called by Brooklyn.
And momentum going the other way. Can they find some answers?
I think here you have just got to get back to what you do best and then live with the results.
A bit under 3.5 minutes have passed here in the fourth. Lobs it up for Jordan. Nice catch and finish on the alley-oop.
Well, the multi-time scoring champion Kevin Durant is showing you he has got as complete a game as there is in the NBA. What a pretty pass.
Now, here's Siakam. That shot is off. Good D by Jordan. Outside, KD. Passes it to Jordan. Here now is Dinwiddie. Floats one up, and Durant gets it to go. The assist by Dinwiddie. 20 points for KD.
Well, at 6'9", Kevin Durant has made himself a sensational ball handler. How about the ability to break down the defense there?
Now here is Lowry. Here's Siakam. And throw the ball out of bounds. Jordan touched it last. The Raptors making a switch here. Boucher is checked in. Lowry against Irving. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Trying to get open is Ibaka. Lowry can't get it to go.
He is single-handedly dropping the temperature in here with that cold streak.
He is trying to shoot his way out of it, and it might be better for him to pass the basketball at this point. Boy, you talk about the all-time great below-the-rim finishers. Kyrie Irving is on that list. He can use either hand. So much English. This guy is tough.
Prince is checked in for Kevin Durant. And Toronto also making a switch. Hollis Jefferson's checked in. Free throw, good, Irving. Inodorus, as great a scorer as he is, Kyrie Irving doesn't draw a ton of fouls.
Kevin, I think that has everything to do with his elusivity. This is a young man who can finish with either hand, can get separation on any defender. This is the one thing you'd say about Kyrie Irving. He does not initiate contact around the rim.
Prince. Toronto grabs the miss. Now Powell to the right side. Lowry passes to Powell. That's in, coming off an assist from Lowry. Powell's got his first bucket of the night.
I'll tell you, I love to see someone take the contact head on, and Norman Powell welcoming the challenge.
Pass to Irving. Poke loose. Chandler kicks to Dinwiddie. Dishes to Jordan. Shoots over Powell. And again, it's the Nets missing. Toronto's gone 0-3 so far in the fourth quarter from long range. Hollis Jefferson passes to Powell. Now, here's Lowry. The pass to Ibaka. Over Jordan. Ibaka, no luck.
A fadeaway, not a terrible idea, but he needs to make the game easier on himself. He's overcomplicating things.
Now here's Prince. He's covered closely.
A little ambitious on that possession, trying to hit a shot in the face of that defensive pressure.
Here's Lowry. Good, nice job down low.
Well, nice finish from that point. Kyle Lowry's got a ton of ways to score once he gets into that painted area.
Dinwiddie surveying the floor. He dishes it to Irving. Jordan kicks to Irving. Prince wide open. Shot clock reset for the Nets.
Oh, what a dunk! Look out below! Wow, looks like 2017 when DeAndre came home with the dunk contest trophy. Makes it look easy there.
Now here is Lowry, and that one drops. Lowry's got 13 points here in the second half alone.
This is what we call highly efficient play. Working off the screen, getting to the cup.
Pass to Irving. Irving double team.
Well, Kyrie Irving's creativity is indisputable. This guy can score it, but he is also an excellent passer.
The Raptors have gone only 6 of 14 from the field in the fourth. Here's Powell. Outside Lowry. Over Irving. Lowry's shot is good. Lowry's got 6 here in this quarter.
Pick works well there. Not much resistance from the D.
It takes incredible effort to stay connected to the hip of the offensive player. You've got to want to work.
Irving dishes to Chandler. Prince kicks to Dinwiddie. The Nets working the ball around now. Here's Irving, and it's denied. Lowry with the ball. And he comes up with the deuce. Lowry's got 23.
Well, how about the presence in the post by Kyle Lowry in the face of some pretty good defense? That was a tough conversion.
Prince outside. Back to Irving. Irving double teamed. Prince outside. Lobs it up for Jordan, and he lays in the alley-oop.
Well, guys, this was never really a contest, just a total obliteration, if you will, and you can safely say mission accomplished now for Brooklyn.
You don't see this kind of a blowout often, but tonight this is a quality win across the board to deliver out this kind of punishment.
They definitely never changed the approach. They just kept after it and showed they were clearly the better team in just about every single category.
And this will make it 36 wins on the year for them.
And not only are they on their way to winning this game, this also gives them a win in the season series.
And what a tremendous standout performance it was for Jordan.
Just an outpouring of points from him. Nobody could do much to keep him from dropping it in.
Now, here is Irving. Following the miss by Kyle Lowry, Prince finds Irving. And oh boy, a lot of contact there, but he gets the call and will shoot 2. Serge Ibaka picks one up there.
Well, DeAndre Jordan making his presence felt at the offensive end. Nice. Well, DeAndre Jordan remains one of the best rebounders in the NBA. His ability to dominate the glass and get you extra possessions, just a thing of beauty.
Free throw good, Jordan. A new group in now for the Raptors. And he can't hit the second. 8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Passes it to Thomas. Beautiful dish, and the layup goes down.
It really does make the game easy for your teammates when you can lead them to the rim that well with a pass.
And they can just let the clock run out here.
Cannot argue with the W.
Here's Irving, and the basket is good.
Finishing strong. This is how you want to close things out.
No question, GA. They've gotten hot at exactly the right time. Clutch play on a team level.
And so it's Brooklyn easily grabbing this one. They poured it on tonight. Dominant showing in front of a crowd that loved every minute of it.
And, you know, this game could really be a defining one for what they can do when they are playing at their best. I mean, being here at home no doubt helps, and the execution was flawless.
It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Thanks, guys. With DeAndre Jordan, nice win tonight, but I'm sure you're looking at the schedule and up ahead, one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, it's going to be a big test for us. They have some great big guys, great guards, and we're familiar with some of the guys on their team. So we just got to come out with that mindset and, it's us against the road. So it'll be a good one.
It'll be a good test to see where you are, DeAndre. Thank you. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, thank you. And that's going to do it tonight, folks, for our broadcast. For Greg Anthony, Doris Burke, and David Aldridge, and the rest of our terrific crew, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. We'll see you later.